A big weekend of wrestling just passed by. A lot happened. We had Money in the Bank. We had SmackDown. We had Raw. We had the AAA Worlds Collide with NXT. A lot of news. A lot of news happening. Money in the Bank was insane.
It was. Yeah, it was
for
great.
a card that was like at first a lot of people were considering underwhelming because there's only 4 matches. It ended up being 5, but we had a lot of stories being built in this pay-per-view. We could talk about CM Punk and John Cena, which obviously started on Raw, and then Seth Rollins winning the Money in the Bank. But let's talk about the tag team match to start, because this match wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad.
I think they did a classic heel slow turn where the heels just run over the faces for a bit, and then it picks up after a while. Like, that's a classic tag team match.
That's classic. Yeah, it is classic.
Classic formula.
Yeah, classic formula. It was a little slow pace, and then they at the end right away they picked it up.
Yeah.
Logan Paul hit that beautiful moonsault.
Yeah, that was nice. That was Shawn Michaels like.
Yeah, that was Shawn Michaels like.
And then the match ends with the return of R-Truth or Ron Killings. And this is big. I think the WWE try to act like they planned this whole thing, but they didn't.
They didn't. No, they didn't.
And I think this is big though, because that means actually listen to the fans for once.
100%. Like, because it was a kind of concerning. I think we talked about this in our last video a little bit. How it was kind of concerning what TKO was doing with business, and I kind of like that they listened to the fans finally, and I also like the fact that it came like Triple H kind of tried to play it off as it was a storyline thing.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. And I kind of like that, like, the truth came out, that the fact that, like, Nick Khan had to call and talk to R-Truth to bring him back. Because
they're undervalued. I get the whole thing that he is like a 50-year-old, but he's still making the most, and he's the most over guy in the company, right? And they're using him in the storyline as well. I feel like he deserved a better deal than whatever the WWE was trying to give to him, because he's been doing what he's been doing for so long. But now I'm kind of wondering what his next arc is, because he's more serious, right? When they first announced that he was to be more serious, I thought he could have been like Mick Foley, like how Mick Foley has 3 different personalities.
Yeah.
One day we get R-Truth, one day we get Ron Killings, one day we get K Quick from like 2000s, whatever, Attitude Era version of R-Truth.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of potential. I think I wonder what he could pull off too, though, because he is 50. I mean, he's not going to be able to work every episode of Monday Night Raw, so I feel like he'll be like a here and there type of in-ring performer.
100%. I kind of feel like he's probably going to be more. You know what? I kind of see him kind of like that role of, how Karrion Kross is kind of a little bit right now. Like, his storyline will probably be built slowly throughout the year, and then it'll probably be like, here's his match versus whoever.
I think he's gonna get more of a TV time than him already, though. Yeah, because
that's true.
They gave Karrion Kross cut a promo after Mania, and he's barely been on TV since. R-Truth comes back and he's on TV right away twice. And he's already got some of the bigger segments on TV. A lot of people talk about, a lot of buzz. WWE is definitely gonna make sure he's on TV too, more often as the year goes on. But I feel like they gotta take advantage of this and actually book him properly. The one thing we do know is that John Cena obviously did defend his belt at Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
He's going to defend his belt now. They announced it, apparently. John Cena cuts a promo to start Raw. CM Punk comes out, and they set up a match for Night of Champions in Saudi. Which, it's when you watch, there's 2 ways of looking at it, right? There's obviously the real-life version of CM Punk saying all these things about Saudi and everything,
100%.
and it being against his morals and not wanting to actually go there. Now he might go there, and I have a feeling that, hey, there's a chance he might not even go, like he might pull out or something like that. But I feel like him going there is kind of like a weird thing now for a lot of people who are fans of him, including myself.
I think it's kind of like also it goes into the storyline a little bit.
Yeah, because that's the other part of it, right? Because John Cena's a heel, and he's like, let's do this in Saudi, because you don't want to go to Saudi, but I'll take you there.
But you'll follow me.
If you want to take this belt from me, you got to go take it over there.
Yeah,
not here. Over there.
That's a great heel move too.
Which it works perfectly for the story, right? And obviously, it kind of intertwines the real life aspect of this angle of CM Punk's whole situation with Saudi too.
Yeah.
So that's a good part about it, I guess, for the people at home.
100%. That changes it, because people want to see this match.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people say, only if we got this match in Money in the Bank.
100%.
That's kind of nostalgic, That's kind of.
I would take it over Saudi, to be honest, because Saudi's show would be like 10 a.m. over here, and that Money in the Bank was at like 4 o'clock. I'll take that all day.
100%. That's true. But I still think CM Punk does end up going.
Yeah.
But I kind of think Seth Rollins maybe,
You think Seth Rollins cashes in?
I think he might have. I
have a different theory. We'll come back to that in a bit, but I think regardless of like where this match is happening, I guess all other stuff that's happening around it, I think the story is still good on TV, because it's like Cena being the devil now, actually trying to be evil, where he's like, the ball's in your court, can you come to Saudi? I'm going there. And then the match itself will probably be pretty good, I think. CM Punk can still go, and him and John Cena can kind of work a slower pace properly because their matches usually
they
like
are slower pace.
They're not really athletic guys, both of them.
Yeah,
and their matches were never like high spots. It was just like a bunch of good in-ring performances.
I remember Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank was a slow burner, and then it just like all of a sudden started picking up at the end. Finisher fest.
They're good storytellers, both of them. So that's a big part. The other part of Money in the Bank was Naomi winning. We said she was one of our winners.
Yes.
We thought she was gonna win in our other video we posted.
I kind of was a little bit disappointed in this match. I kind of thought it'd be a little bit better.
A few of the spots I thought were a little too.
It was like they were like laying around too much, and then like one or two people were in the ring, and then everybody else was laying on the ground.
There were spots in this match that I thought they were too predictable. You saw them coming before they were even happening. Like they were setting them up for so long. They were like, "Oh, are you gonna do the same time?" Because I think there was one spot. It was a quality spot. Don't get me wrong. But it was on the ladder, and they were both. I think they did the
Canadian Destroyer.
It was a Canadian Destroyer. I thought it was like a powerbomb, kind of, right?
Okay.
Or it was kind of like a Code Red. It was Roxanne Perez's finisher, and then they're doing it on both sides of the ladder. I think Alexa Bliss was doing the other one. It was a good spot, but I thought like it was. I was watching the match. I was like, "Come on, get to it faster," because they were taking so long to get to it. And I was okay. This is taking way too long.
100%. Because like even was it this Roxanne, Rhea Ripley, Julia, and they had the table. Sorry, the ladder. And they were trying to set up Rhea, and it took forever, and they kept messing it up, and they kept doing it.
There were a few sloppy spots in this match. I think the match was good. I don't think it was terrible at all.
I just expected better.
Yeah, same. I expected better because I thought the talent was unreal too. You had
100%.
Stephanie McCarr, Roxanne Perez is one of the next big things coming up. The one thing I did hate was when they kept calling people veterans. If you think about it, Julia and Stephanie McCarr have a lot more experience than most of the women there because they've been wrestling all over the world.
Yeah,
like veterans versus the next up and coming people. It's like no, they're upcoming in the WWE world, but pro wrestling, they're actually very experienced. At least two of them are, and then Roxanne Perez is up and coming. That's the only one that kind of made sense. But outside of that, I think the match was good. I think Naomi was the one that makes sense to win too because she's been doing great character work. 100%. And she has said recently that at some point she's gonna take a break. She wants to win a world title before then. She honestly she's earned it too, with all the stuff that she went through before when she left the WWE for a few years and then went to TNA and did all that other stuff. And now she's back and her best character work as a heel right now.
100%. I think it's just a testament to like the Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre's, Naomi's like the method. They go out, they come back in, and then they build their character back up. Now they're ready for a title run. Yeah,
I think. I feel like she could cash in on Bianca Belair or something like that.
100%.
I feel like that would be the best way to do it, right? Make
Tiffany lose to Bianca, and then she cashes in.
On the other end, we had Seth Rollins winning the Money in the Bank, the men's Money in the Bank. I thought this match was good too. I think another match with like a lot of predictive spots, but still a quality match. I think that one spot where Chad Gable goes up the ladder and then LA Knight, and he hits Penta at the head with the metal plate.
Yeah, the metal plate.
And then he gets hit with LA Knight. That was a great spot.
You mean El Grande?
El Grande. my bad. I'm not.
You're not one of those guys.
I'm not Michael Cole, right? Just saying, bring it up every 2 seconds. But yeah. El Grande Americano, I thought that was a good spot.
There was great spots in this match.
Yeah.
Andrade getting hit in the nuts accidentally.
That was brutal.
I felt that one.
Same thing. I felt it too. I felt bad too. I started laughing. I thought the Braun Breaker and them showing up was pretty cool too. When they finally showed up, it was like, oh shit! And then the spear, even though they kind of missed the spear, the cameraman kind of missed the spear. That spear was still sick to see at the end. And then that led to Jacob Fatu showing up, and we had Jacob Fatu and them going at it, which was huge. It made Jacob Fatu and Braun Breaker both look strong. Which is big, and then Jacob Fatu finally turning on his back on Solo after all these times. I hate you, Solo.
I hate
you. He finally said it. Yeah, and then
he hit him through the table. That was a good spot.
Through the ladder.
I keep saying table.
Yeah, a spinning solo or just a regular. I
was kind of expecting the Slim Jim table to come out. At some point it had to come out.
Did they not have it? Did not have it.
They had the fireball table.
Yeah, fireball ladder. But I didn't mind it that much. Right, it was a part of the match. They were calling for it earlier. And then Seth Rollins wouldn't get by screwing your boy, LA Knight.
3 times now. 3 times now.
I think Seth Rollins winning was like the most predictable thing too, right?
100%.
But I feel like it makes most sense because there's actually... They
need Seth Rollins to have a way to get to the title. And it's the quickest way.
Outside of John Cena, Seth Rollins is probably the biggest story. His whole thing is probably the biggest storyline, and they need to deliver on it sooner rather than later because it's been, 2 months now since we've had this, or a month and a half since we had this... faction around. So I think they need something to like get them going even more or take the next level.
You know what's funny? I honestly thought when he stomped LA Knight up and he started climbing the ladder, I thought Roman Reigns was going to come out. I
saw a lot of people saying that. I just didn't believe it though because I think Roman Reigns is going to take a little longer, milk the injuries, and then come back. when it's his moment to come back. I do think this is going to lead to like a huge summer storyline now with him having the briefcase. You said he's going to cash in. You think he might cash in at Night of Champions? I feel like he's going to cash in on the world title instead because that's his title more than the WWE title is his title. I think that Gunther also beat Jey Uso on Monday.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to lead to another storyline, which I saw on Twitter. I thought this was a great idea. Somebody said the plan is Gunther holds the belt until SummerSlam. Sami Zayn wins King of the Ring. Gunther versus Sami Zayn at SummerSlam. Sami Zayn wins the world title. Seth Rollins cashes in, and now Sami Zayn's back on the chase, and they have a match at WrestleMania 41. I feel like that's a great way to book it because since the start, it's been Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins going back and forth since the start. Before the heel turn ever happened, we've had this conversation of them going, "Hey, Seth's like calls him out, and Sami calls him out." Back to War Games in September. That's been the whole storyline. So I feel like at WrestleMania 41, those two going head to head would be a quality match. Two of the best in-ring performers. Stakes are the highest. And Sami Zayn, he's been asked for this world title for so long too. It just makes sense for that to happen in that way.
The only reason why I think it's a WWE title is because, like you said in our previous videos, that they're gonna put the WWE title on people that they think they could carry the company.
Yeah.
And I think Seth Rollins is the kind of guy that could carry the company. And I think like they could either put it on him or Cody Rhodes, right? At this point, and I kind of feel like maybe if they want to take a break from Cody Rhodes being champion and push Seth Rollins, and then maybe push Seth Rollins versus Cody later on in WrestleMania or something like that, they could also do that with him having the WWE title.
I think there's only one guy that makes sense to beat John Cena right now. That's Cody Rhodes, because John Cena is such like he's on that level, and it makes so much sense. This whole storyline setting it up to be, hey, I'm rooting wrestling. Who's gonna save it? Cody Rhodes can save it. Okay. It doesn't make sense that Seth Rollins saves wrestling.
But Seth Rollins is also thinking.
Yeah, but he's not going to be like, I'm going to save wrestling from John Cena. He's more of like, I'm going to save wrestling from CM Punk. Save wrestling from Roman Reigns, the guys that actually have beef with. I think it makes more sense like the world title.
That's true.
And then on top of that, apparently there's reports that LA Knight is the guy that they're going to have wrestling Seth Rollins. So I feel like that's going to be kind of the matches we get over the next few months. And then we get the similar cash in what we had from WrestleMania 31 with Seth Rollins. Instead, it'd probably be after the match, something like that. But I think like the same way Randy Orton was wrestling against Seth Rollins back then, we're gonna have LA Knight doing the same thing. And I think when he wins the belt, LA Knight's gonna have a title shot, probably lose, probably be his main opponent during that time, and then Sami Zayn finally gets it back at the end of the year or at WrestleMania. Yeah.
You know what? I agree. Like, they need a big moment at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
SummerSlam's 2 nights now.
Yeah,
so they need one big moment in night one, and that's probably gonna be night one. Is Seth Rollins probably stealing it. And then night 2 is probably going to be
Cody Rhodes beat
John Cena for the title. Maybe not. Maybe they keep John Cena with the title for I don't know how long. Who knows?
That does it for the Fuller Talks video. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let us know what you think about our takes and what we think is going to happen, our predictions. And we'll see you in the next video. Peace.